Hello everyone, my name is Mark Philpott from World Sports Online, and in this video I want to talk about corruption in sport. Well, it's really interesting times around the world at the moment because we're starting to see the power of the people. Yes, we're just coming to the end of another climate summit that's been held with all the world leaders, and as usual not much has been achieved. But what I find really interesting about this is that we all need to stand up and we need to take control of the things that we want to change in this world, because we've seen it for so long, over so many years, how politicians, governments, leaders constantly let us, the people, down, and because of the systems that they work in, a lot of them are handcuffed to playing the game, so to speak, and there's no different in the world of sport. So as we have to do in climate change, if we want things to change for the planet, we the people have to stand up and not only demand change but also drive change through innovation and working hard together through collaboration to make that happen. And we're already seeing that in lots of different ways around the world, with incredible projects and people taking initiatives to try and change the impact that we all have on the climate, and it comes down to each and every one of us doing our part in that process. And I look at the same strategy that's required in the world of sport to change the world of sport, which I'm really passionate about doing. We can't expect and rely on those that are leading sport today to make those changes that we really need, because as I said earlier, they are working within the system. And that system does nothing but typically corrupt and demand that these people play politics in the actual world of sport. So we the people need to take control, and we need to demand a better and fairer way for all sports people around the world. And that's what I want to achieve. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to start to break down some of these barriers. We're going to start to call out the individuals and the organizations on a constant basis on what they're doing to actually make sport a poor thing. And when I say poor thing, we've seen too many people being impacted on the wrong side of sport. Over the last year alone, since I've been working full-time researching the global sports industry, I've been absolutely smashed to pieces emotionally by finding out the number of athletes that have committed suicide. Athletes that have not and are not being supported by their sports federations. Athletes that represented their countries at the Olympic Games. What is the IOC doing? What is FIFA doing? What is FINA doing? Well, many of us and many watching this video will have their own views on that. But my own personal opinion is they're not doing enough, and more needs to be done for the welfare of world sport. And when I talk about the welfare of world sport, I'm talking about the welfare of the people that mean the most. If we didn't have athletes and coaches and the people that put events together, we wouldn't have a sports entertainment industry. And there's a lot to be said about making sure that those athletes and coaches are looked after, not only in a welfare position but also in a well-being position. And all the things that I'm trying to do around revolutionizing world sport with our platform called World Sports Online is all driven by that desire to create a more welfare state across the world of sport for everybody to be able to collaborate in a more sustainable way. I was just looking the other day, I think it's really fascinating to find out that if we look in the situation of Lance Armstrong, and when he was brought down by a journalist that works for a newspaper. He wasn't brought down by his sports federation and the very people that should have been looking after the protection of their athletes. No. The sports federation in that case were actually part of the problem. And we find this across so many different sports, where the sports federations are not doing the job that they're actually there employed to do. They're more worried about focusing on the economic impact and on the political power of the positions of the people that are involved in those sports. And for me, that has to change. We've got to drive change. And the way we do that is through the power of the people. So we have a number of initiatives planned at the World Sports Online team where we're going to give the power of the people the platforms, the opportunities, the structure, and the ways to be able to make change through innovation and providing solutions. We're not here to start a war. In fact, the opposite. We're here to create a whole new platform for the world of sports. We're here to look at positive outcomes for people who work in the global sports industry so that we can all coexist and we can all be sustainable. But at the end of the day, we return sport to what we love about it, and that's the fun, the enjoyment, the entertainment, and making sure that those people, those stakeholders that actually live and work as a professional career in the world of sport are getting rewarded and looked after in the right ways, and that is not happening today. So that's what we're about, and that's what I wanted to share today. Corruption has to be driven out of world sport, and we need to start naming and shaming individuals and organizations that are not supporting athletes and coaches, that are not supporting parents and families, and not supporting athletes when they retire from their sports, and making sure that they're accountable. And then we've got to provide solutions and support to enable the global sports industry to not only prosper but thrive moving into the future. So let's all do our part in driving out corruption. When you hear or see anything that appears to be corrupt within the sports that you're involved in or that you're passionate about it, get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll make sure that we elevate that noise to another level. Thank you very much for watching the video. I'll be back again soon with another one. My name's Mark Philpott from World Sport Online.